What's up, YouTube? Zach here, and today we will be talking about cheating in Yu-Gi-Oh! And the main reason we're talking about this is that at the European World Championship qualifier, which was won by Prophecy, by the way, it was like the One Priestess Kaiku version, which is what I would like to run, but right now I don't have it. So, working on that. But that is another discussion for a Nationals video, I guess. Anyway, today, I think it was either in the top 64 or top 32, Simon He, who was playing Dragons, was caught cheating. It was a form of stacking, but, like, different to what you might imagine. Like, he wasn't marking his own cards. He was marking other people's cards. And we'll talk about all types of cheating. I guess we'll talk about his first. What he would do is during the match, say he was playing against Evil Swarms or something, and the person's graveyard had random bullshit in it, like whatever, just random shit. I don't really have a full Evil Swarm deck, so we'll just make it up. Alright, say his graveyard was like this. And he's like, can I see your grave? He'd look through it, supposedly. Konami is working to figure out if this is true or not. So he'd look through the grave, and he'd be like, well, and this would be game 1, by the way. And he'd be like, well, game 2, I don't really want them to draw any good cards. And so, while looking at them, he'd bend the corner, look at the next one. I guess he'd do it secretly or whatever. And so when he's pile shuffling then, you've got cards with normal backs, and then you've got cards with some bent corner like this. And he would pile shuffle, and he would pile shuffle specifically so that all the cards with the bent corners would end up in the one pile. And then you'd open a hand of like 1 heliotrope, 3 infestations, or 3 heliotropes, 3 pandemics, or something like that. So, I guess we're going to deem that the Simon He method of cheating, which is bending your opponent's card corners of their shitty cards, and it was usually against spellbooks, he'd bend Spellbook of the Master, supposedly. Bend Spellbook of the Master, Spellbook of Life, and both Spellbook of the Masters, and Eternity, the cards that need other cards to work, the combo-based cards, he'd bend the corners on all of those, so that they'd open a shitty-ass hand, and then he'd just play regular Dragon Rulers, and it wouldn't really matter. So, that is supposedly what he did. And that is one method. So, this is in prep for the North American World Championship qualifier. Pay attention to your opponent. I guess this is a video on how to prevent it, too. This one is more, if you see your opponent, being a dumbass of where cards go, do something about it. Check out the corners of your cards. I guess, if you see that, but that just happens naturally over time. So that's just a hard method to prevent. I can't imagine anybody else would be trying that now, that someone has gotten caught doing it. I feel like that should be something Konami is looking out for now. But honestly, we don't know. So, I guess we'll see. And that's that method of cheating, in a sense. In case any of you were wondering how Simon He cheated. Supposedly cheated. Sorry, I don't know. There's a video of it, and I don't know if I can link it, because I don't know if I can find it again. But it's literally the shittiest cards in the Spellbook player's deck have been, corners bent. And unless that guy did it to himself, to just get a free win, and I don't know, that guy, the Italian guy, I don't have anything against the Italian Yu-Gi-Oh players, but that dude looks shitty as fuck. So, I don't know, but that is just a theory, on what happened. So, anyway, next method of cheating, is lapping. So, say you're playing Evil Swarms, and you want to open Rabbit. Well, that would mean, alright, say you've got your deck, and this isn't a whole Evil Swarm deck, I know. And then you've got a side deck, which is just a bunch of trap cards and obelisk and shit. Yeah, so this is your side deck, let's just say, for the sake of this video. So it's like, you're siding, you're like, oh, well, I'm gonna want rabbit, and so you stick this in your lap, and you just leave this here, like, or you palm it, or whatever, I don't know. Different methods of getting it into your deck, but then you throw in some cards, whatever, and maybe we want to put in Winged Dragon of Ra, this guy, test card, whatever. You throw those cards in, you side some shit out, maybe you're like, fuck that card. Yeah, I don't need those right now. Whatever. You side some cards out, whatever. This is still sitting in your lap, mind you. You shuffle up, you shuffle up, you shuffle up. You draw your 5 cards, whatever. Draw 5. Oh, cool, I got a side card. This is sitting in your lap still. And your opponent goes, and they ask you how many cards are in your hand, and then somehow you have to get this from your lap, and maybe you put it right here, this is the card you're gonna draw. Oh look, it's a rabbit. Or you just you can fit it in your palm, like this. If you go from your lap to this, you can't really see it unless you're looking down on it. So you just you set your hand on your deck, and then you draw. Oh, hey, rabbit. Or the other way is just to literally blatantly, you have this sitting in your lap, you go, can you check life for me? They check life, and you just pick this up out of your lap. Or you keep your hands under their table really briefly. Your opponent will probably tell you to pick them up, and oh look, the one time they didn't catch you, you've got rabbit in your hand. So it's just watch for that, I guess. Be cautious. I guess all of these involve you just knowing, keeping track. And then another thing people will do, since we're on the topic of just paying attention, they'll say it's later in the game, and you've got 3 cards in hand. You've got 3 cards in hand, and you want to get an extra draw. So you've got a card sitting here or whatever, and your opponent goes, cards in hand, and you just pick them up like this so that they can't really see how many you have in hand. You just go, yeah, I got 2, and then you proceed to draw 2 cards, either by distracting them with the whole calculator thing again, asking them what life is, and then you just draw an extra card. And say, oh look, you've got oh, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. When you say you've got 2, or when you've got 3, you say you have 4. You have 4 cards in hand, not 2. So then you just proceed to draw an extra card so that you now have 5 when you draw for turn. And that's just paying attention. So if you're like this, you've got 3 in hand, you say you got 4, and then you proceed to draw an extra card. And you can do that just by drawing 2 cards at once, or I don't know how you do it. I'm not a cheater, obviously. I've just looked up different methods on how to cheat. Anyway, the next method we're going to look at, say you're shuffling your opponent's deck or whatever, and you want to know what they're playing. This is an obvious one. I always tell my opponent to not look at the top of my deck, or look at me when they're shuffling my deck. But people will look at the bottom. They'll literally blatantly shuffle this, and they're that's just my method of shuffling. Oh look, you're playing Evil Swarm, sweet. And that will affect their first turn. I guarantee that. I think that has happened to me before. Last year at Nationals, I was playing Insector for the WCQ. The guy is playing Rabbit, he wins the die roll, shuffles my deck, goes first turn Dolka. No protection, just first turn Dolka. So I'm thinking, oh great, I'm playing Insectors, I'm fucked. And, well, I was. So he proceeds to go Dolka, obviously Insectors can't do shit against Dolka, and then he had macro or something, so I just got fucked up. Anyway, moving on, just be wary, tell your opponent to look at you when you shuffle, or hold the deck to the ground or whatever, level, I don't know. You can't request them to cut a certain way, they're allowed to pile shuffle if they want to, you can't just tell them to do the simple cut, but you can tell them how they can do the shuffle, I don't know, it's an etiquette thing. The next method is oversized sleeves. I don't know if I have one in here. I guess all these sleeves are different sizes right now, because these sleeves are shitty as fuck. But normally you'd have maybe you'd put your Rabbit, or your Kirkion, or your Dark Arm, I don't know, any of these 3 cards, your really good cards. And in this case of Evil Swarms, it would be these 3. If it was Prophecy, you might put your Spellbook of Secrets, your Judgment, etc. there's dragons, you might put like your super juves or something, your gold sharks, I don't know. But you'd put them in like a bigger sleeve so that when they're cutting, or you bend them, you can bend them backwards or whatever, so that when you cut, I obviously don't want to bend my cards like that, you can cut and then they end up on top or something. Like, it's weird. But yeah, that's like, you can either oversize sleeves or, because then you pick it up right where the oversized sleeve is, or something. Like, it ends up on top. I don't know. So there's that. The next one I've got is the St. Clair cheat, and the only reason I call it that is because Roy St. Clair, I think, did this, apparently. I don't know, that's what it's called anyway. And that is where you play a match, and I don't even have to demonstrate this, I can just tell you about it. You play a match, you go, hey, you want to play for fun? So, like, obviously you want him to sign the match slip first. Well, people wouldn't against this guy. They'd play for fun. He would win after having not signed the match slip, and he would say that was game 3 and just blatantly lie. So, don't fuck around like that. Like, tell him to sign the match slip if you're going to play for fun or whatever. So yeah, there's that. Sorry about that. My camera kind of lost battery, so I guess this is like the second part. Anyway, the last method that we are going to look at is the 8-5 pile shuffle method. So I've got my Dark World deck, which is actually the Absence of the Light. This is like the build that everybody on DN and their mother is playing. So what you'll do is, say you want to open card destruction. Wow, this is like cloggy as fuck. Card destruction and 5 monsters. It's pretty good. So you grab your 3 snows, your brow, your grapha, whatever. Like this would be like during siding or before the game or whatever. And you want to open card destruction. You throw these on top. And then in front of your opponent, you'll be able to pile shuffle confidently, and open that amazing ass hand. And the way this works is you do 8 first, and it's like this where you go top, bottom, and then start over. And then you're gonna collect them and do 5, and you have to do this in an exactly 40 card deck because it makes sense. 8 and 5 is 40, and so you collect them backwards. I don't know why I'm talking so loud or whatever. And you're going to proceed to do the 5 shuffle, and there are 5 here. I don't know if you can see them all. They're here though. And so you shuffle them up the same way, and I hope I get this right so I don't have to film this again. And I normally don't mess this up, and obviously if you practice you'll be good at it, but that's not the point. The point is to make sure your opponent doesn't do this to you. You collect them backwards again, and so if you notice this kind of like pattern going on where they're going this and this, like ask them to like, or you pile shuffle it yourself then, to just randomize it better, because you don't want them opening with this hand, or whatever deck they're playing. You don't want them opening like the best hand ever. So that is the 8-5 method. And then if they pile shuffle in front of you, you can like go, oh yeah, I trust them, and they don't offer it for a cut or whatever. And then they proceed to draw their good ass hand, which obviously is not fair. That is why it is a cheat. Anyway, that is that for that cheat, along with all the other ones, including like lapping, stealing a card. Oh wait, did forget one. I've got a list here, and I just realized. Alright, so here is something that people will do. You'll be playing a game, they'll like look at your grave or whatever, you'll get distracted, they'll be cutting, maybe they'll drop some cards, they'll go, oh shoot, and they'll drop your upstart goblin or whatever, and I don't know, whatever. And so you've got that, and then they'll continue, like they'll shovel it back up for you, hand it back to you, and then you've got a 39 card deck. So you'll be siding, you'll side your cards, and after siding, they'll go, can you count your deck for me? And you'll count 39 cards, because you make sure your side deck has 15 in it, and they know all along they only have 39, because they have your 40th card. then they'll call a judge over and get you a penalty or whatever, game loss, for having too few cards in your deck. So that is the, like, just make sure your opponent's not dropping your shit or whatever. Tell them to shuffle over the table, you know, you don't want them shuffling, like, in their lap where they can drop it. So, those are the methods. We've got lapping, stealing a card, 8-5 pile, shuffle, like the big sleeves or whatever, bent corners, which is like the Simon Heath thing, looking at the bottom of the deck, which is like every asshole in the game, and then the St. Clair thing. So that is that for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is definitely different than what I usually do, and hopefully it's helpful. Hopefully you don't use this to cheat, but you use it more to prevent cheating, especially with the North American World Championship qualifier, aka Nationals, coming up. My next video will hopefully be, well, actually no, the next video will either be a deck profile or a discussion on that. So look out for that, and I will see you guys next time.